What's up, everybody? Welcome on back to the My Side of Things podcast, episode 2. It's your host, as always, Ash, and we got a whole string of topics to talk about today. We got to talk about the Sean Ross reports regarding one Cody Rhodes and one Jade Cargill. We also got to talk about the William Ospreay and Hunter Hearst Helmsley issues that have resurfaced. Then we also got to talk about the top 5 wrestlers that I believe are going to break out this year, including talking about who's going to dethrone every current NXT champion. We're going to continue this for all the other promotions as well, so WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, etc. Not TNA, Ring of Honor, etc. Then we're also going to be talking about this past Friday night SmackDown. 2 big things that I think definitely need to be talked about in regards to one Naomi and the tag division as well. And if the episode's not going on too long enough, we will get to the Black Clover anime return. I said I wasn't going to talk too much anime on here, but I will talk it from time to time, and I'm a very big Black Clover fan, and oh my gosh, I'm super excited for this. But we got to start off with the deleted tweet of one Becky Lynch, because this has been a hot topic over the past few days now, ever since CM Punk dropped that steaming hot promo against The Rock, John Cena, and then also told Becky Lynch that she needs to come get her man before he does, because in a now deleted tweet, Becky Lynch basically told CM Punk something along the lines of catching up on Raw, ... added a few extra dots there, usually put 3, but alright. I don't think I'm the one who needs to come get my man, my in all capitals, and I understand why people were upset, because Becky Lynch kind of is bringing AJ Lee involved in the stuff, and it's kind of playing into the whole allegations that have been said about CM Punk potentially not being so loyal to AJ Lee and possibly messing with either Roxanne Perez or Cora Jade. I think people that make those allegations are very, very weird in my opinion. I've actually called a few people out on TikTok, Ash Wayne with a 1. A 1 at the end, not like anywhere, not replacing any one of those letters. That would be odd. I didn't even know what letter you would replace there. But yeah, I've called out a few folks on live for stuff like this, because I have seen people making these kind of comments, and I'm not going to make a video in response to it. I usually just like go on live and talk about it. It is very weird, in my opinion, to make these kind of things when it's just him literally just making TikToks with Cora Jade and Roxanne. I think you got to realize that he's also grown up with these two. Not grew up with these two, but he mentored these two as they were growing up. I think he started mentoring them around like their I want to say like their teens, 20s. I think Roxanne is like 2 years younger than Cora. So when he started mentoring Roxanne, I think he also started mentoring Cora as well, because Roxanne and Cora also were very close together coming up through WWE and also other places as well, because Roxanne was in Ring of Honor at one point as Roxy, and Cora Jade did have a few appearances, I think, on Ring of Honor and also AEW's Dark as well, or it might have been Rampage. Might have actually been Dark. So they've been cool with each other. And then obviously Cora Jade is a super big mega fan of one CM Punk. There's been videos that have gone around of Cora Jade meeting CM Punk and saying that like she's like, or that he's like a really big inspiration for her and all that stuff, and that like he's changed her life and all that. I think people don't also realize that this is a much more mature CM Punk. So the CM Punk you're used to, that like the straight edge society CM Punk, the Summer of Punk, that's not CM Punk anymore. He's not that guy. He's a much more mature individual. He's even made these same statements as well, that the CM Punk today is not the same one you saw when when you were younger, that when he was younger. So these allegations are very, very weird. So I understand why people are upset because of that. But if you're upset because like, just Becky Lynch was like bringing up AJ Lee, CM Punk has brought up Becky Lynch more than twice now. Because it was like, I think going into their Raw on Netflix match, the Raw on Netflix debut match, I think CM Punk had said that, it might have been at that point, it might have been before that though, that Seth Rollins wasn't the man in his relationship with the way he dresses and all that. So he's kind of brought her up multiple times, and she's allowed to bring him up. And hey, don't send shots if you can't take shots. That's basically how that goes, in my opinion. So I don't really have much issue with the whole Becky Lynch tweet at all. Honestly, I don't have any issue with it. I think it's just super funny to me. I was laughing when I seen the tweet. I'm gonna be honest, man, because it was funny. It was funny because they were wearing matching outfits, and I would have probably said the same thing. Like, hey, yo, I think AJ Lee need to come get her man, not the other way around. But speaking of tweets, though, we also got to talk about this Chelsea Greenwood tweet, which leads into our first topic in regards to one Jade Cargill. So the situation involving Jade Cargill is one that goes all the way back to Clash of the Castle, which is really interesting that it's getting brought up now as like right after her Elimination Chamber return, and not way back then when she was still an active wrestler with the one Bianca Bianca Belair. Gosh, sometimes I talk before thinking. But basically in the match, there was a point where Shayna Baszler had put Jade Cargill into a chokehold. Don't know if it was too tight or not. Jade Cargill did tap out to this. That didn't end the match. But I think what happened was that maybe Shayna went just a bit tighter than normal, maybe by accident, who knows. And Jade Cargill was probably trying to let her know that, hey, it's a little too tight. You got to loosen the hold a bit. I don't really know. We have seen wrestlers do that a lot, but they do a much slower tap. She did a very full-on tap out. But Sean Ross, Fightful Select, reports that we're told it stemmed from the match in Scotland where Cargill tapped out and it wasn't supposed to be a finish to the match. The word around the locker room was that Cargill had said something to the effect that Baszler needed to learn how to work, which was denied by people close to Jade. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I think if Jade was extremely upset with herself, which is also a report as well, that she was very upset and that she wasn't going at others, I could understand that maybe Jade did say something to Shayna, because let's be real, that match was full of botches. I guarantee you everybody involved in that match was extremely upset with the way that they went out there, the way they went out there and performed. I could 100% see that. I could also see, because of this, tension starting to flare, people's emotions getting a bit too high, not having the best control of their emotions. One thing leads to another, and this causes a whole bunch of issues. Now, when it comes to Jade Cargill, we know that there's been issues also in AEW as well. Again, these reports were by Dave Meltzer, so take them however you want to take them. There was one report, though, that came out by somebody else that was involving one Jade and Red Velvet. A lot of it does stem from the fact that these reports have always said that Jade Cargill is a very cocky individual. I'm going to be honest, if that's the case, I'm not mad at Jade Cargill. She's just a really cocky person, and she's just rubbing people the wrong way because she's very confident in herself. That's not an issue, in my opinion. Every single dang wrestler is cocky. Seth Rollins literally told Triple H that you better sign me or you're going to be making the worst decision in the world. Now, obviously, he had to sit him down and let him know, hey, young man, you really are talented, but you're not the guy you think you are. And Seth Rollins took that, he learned from it, and he went on to have one of the most successful careers in WWE. I think when you're cocky, as long as you're willing to listen, that's fine. And I think listening, though, is not always just from a credible source, but it's also from, credibility has levels to it. We could be within the same field, but if you're not successful in the area that I'm trying to be successful in, I might not listen to you the most as I would listen to someone who is more successful. So maybe there have been a lot of people who have been trying to, humble Jade a bit, and she's just taking it as you're trying to keep me down and stuff like that. Maybe these people that are trying to humble her are not the most successful in WWE. I'm gonna be honest. That's exactly how I would look at it. I'm more likely to listen to a Bianca Belair or a Rhea Ripley than I am somebody who's not as successful or not successful at all in this division. So I think it could be some of that. I think it's also just a case of, again, with this situation, tempers flaring. Folks are just, getting a little too heated. And in the heat of the moment, you do say things. Now, there is a bit more to this, though. There is a bit more, because I said Chelsea Green was also involved in this. So before we get to the Chelsea part, there actually is more to the Sean Ross that deals with Jade Cargill's recent injury, where it says talent had heard that Cargill asked for the holiday tour off, but was told that tour was mandatory. Following that, she sustained an injury that several members of the roster doubted the validity of, which is why reports had emerged elsewhere that she wasn't injured. This is where I have been on the side of, I don't know if this injury was so 100% true. I mean, WWE has been telling Fightful that this is 100% true. This was a legitimate injury. But there was also video that released of Jade Cargill about a week or two later where she was literally in the ring training. So if it was a torn MCL, you're not going to be training that quick, which is what a lot of people would have tried to say, that it was a torn MCL. If it was just a sprain or something like that, why would she be out for months? It would have to be a pretty significant injury to be out from what was that? November-ish all the way until February, March. I don't know if it's just a sprain going to keep you out that long. So I understand that, if she did want time off and then she got a random injury out of nowhere, people would look at this and be like, this is way too big of a coincidence. You don't want to work the days that, you're being told to work, that we're also being told to work as well if we want to be in positions and stuff like that we're trying to get to. So I can understand some people's upset, some people being upset with this. Now, we got more of this story. We got more of this story though, because so actually going back to the earlier part real quick. So let's see, where was it at? Okay, so this basically stems from a video that Jade Cargill had made. That this is why all this stuff is coming out now, where Jade Cargill called out the wolves in WWE, saying that people were jealous of her and that people were doubting that why does she deserve the things that she's getting when she never worked for it and stuff like that. And she basically said that, well, when you're built the way I am, which is built like a dang goddess, you could just keep your mouth shut, okay? Because I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to be the best that I'm going to be, and I'm going to be on top, and you're going to have to, you know, be at the bottom. Basically, it's basically what I took from it. You can go watch the video yourself. I obviously can't show the videos because of copyright issues, but she basically said something along the lines of that. And then Chelsea Green... Chelsea Green is petty, man. I do like Chelsea sometimes, man. She be petty, but she posted a tweet saying, "Imagine calling your coworkers wolves, while demanding respect." And I'm just over here like, and it was a picture of her with her dogs on a couch and all that stuff. And then a fan called out Chelsea Green and said, "Chelsea stay running to the dirt sheets and group chats. I don't know why she can't be messy with her wife, Zack Ryder." Oh, with her wife, and then Zack Ryder's in parentheses, obviously, because, yeah, just like, I'm reading this off of Fightful, I think? No, Ringside News. And then Chelsea Green says in response, "Dang, the least you could do is tag me so I can get some followers. These coworker wolves had to show me this tweet. Still me, though." Now, I think this is all just in fun and games, okay? I think Chelsea Green is just playing into this whole entire thing. I just think this is Chelsea Green's character to an absolute T. She's going to get involved in all the dang mess. The reports about Jade Cargill, I mean, like, okay, the reports that Jade Cargill is apparently calling out people in this video, I 1000% believe. Like I said, she's probably a super cocky individual, and I don't even have a problem with that. You're supposed to be cocky in sports, man. That's the whole thing. Go watch Blue Lock. Egotist literally said, if you're gonna be the best, you gotta be the most cocky. Lionel Messi, LeBron James, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, all these guys are super dang cocky, man. They all believe in themselves. And if you ain't gonna be cocky, well, then you're never gonna get to the top. It's just what it is in the sports world. So I do 1000% believe that she's probably not directing it at like any one individual, but just everybody in the locker room that might have something to say about her. And let's also be real. This whole thing could just be playing into the fact that there apparently is locker room issues, and that maybe Triple H is just, poking jokes at Dave Meltzer, because he is usually the one that is talking about all these locker room issues with Jade Cargill. He's also the one that made a whole thing about how Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair apparently have beef, which has never been confirmed, by the way, by anybody else. There's been videos of them even hanging out together as well, so I really don't believe the beef. This could just be Triple H poking jokes at all this, and that's why he told Jade, "Hey, you know what, man? Go grab Ricky Stanks. Ricky Saints, y'all go record this whole dang video, calling out the wolves and all that stuff. We're even gonna have Bianca Belair be at Friday Night SmackDown and start talking about some, because now everybody's trying to get me into all this, saying that I'm the one that's doing this, saying that I got beef with Jade Cargill." So I think a lot of it could just be that as well. But speaking about these Sean Ross tweets, oh man, I'm so glad that this did not happen. So somebody reported that Cody Rhodes was actually supposed to turn heel, that he was 100% supposed to be the Rock's corporate champion. This was pitched at Bad Blood, and Cody Rhodes turned this down. Cody Rhodes said, "No, this is dumb. I'm not doing this. There's no point in turning me heel. I don't need to be a heel right now." And I guess even people at WWE, like Triple H and all of them, were saying that it would be a super bad idea because of the fact that there's no other babyface. You can have a bunch of heels going around, but you can really only have one super duper mega babyface, and Cody Rhodes is that. And this was confirmed by one Sean Ross as well. And I'm super glad that Cody Rhodes did turn this down, dude, because had he actually turned heel, had he just listened to The Rock and said, "You know what? Yeah, no, let's just go ahead and turn me heel." Dude, I'm going to be real with you. What do you do? What do you do? Do you have Cody versus John Cena, and then you have Cody Rhodes beat John Cena, and you have him be the corporate champion and all that? I'm cool, man. If you're gonna turn Cody heel, wait for another babyface to come up. You gotta do that in about 4 to 5 years when he's close to retirement and all that stuff. Not when he's still you could say, technically speaking, in his prime. I think John Cena was the better heel turn here, in my opinion, because it's just a lot more shocking. Cody Rhodes, if he would have turned heel as well, it wouldn't have been as shocking because everybody's been begging for Cody Rhodes to turn heel. John Cena, though, on the other hand, we have been asking for it, but nobody would have ever imagined this to happen in literally his final year, or at least his final full-time year. He may be part-time in the future. Well, he kind of already is part-time the past few years, but you get what I mean. Also, he's part-time this year as well, so it's not even really a full-time year. Anyways, it's just a lot more shocking. I think it's a better moment. Had Cody Rhodes actually gave his soul up to The Rock, I don't even know how the heck you would have did I just say dern? What the heck? Boy, I'm not even from the South. Oh my gosh, it feels like those TikToks where everybody's accent starts slipping out, and then they start making fun of the person because their accent slips out and all that. Oh my gosh, man. But I don't even know how you would have done Cody Rhodes turning on John Cena with that whole moment right there. It wouldn't have been good. Plus, we wouldn't have got the big old, hey, Rock, go F yourself moment. Like, oh my God, that was absolutely beautiful, man. I love the heck out of that moment right there. And then we wouldn't have got this amazing Cody Rhodes promo from this past Friday Night SmackDown either, where, dude, I'm not even lying to you. This guy actually sounded like John Cena when he said, "You want some? Come get some." Like, I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. Did they just drop a John Cena promo out of nowhere? Like, because I was cooking when it happened, so I was so shocked. But nah, I'm glad that Cody Rhodes did not turn heel. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't even need Cody Rhodes to turn heel. I've been loving face Cody Rhodes. I think he's absolutely phenomenal at playing the role that he's playing. You could say that you want this guy to flame people more on the mic. And hey, I would love to see it sometimes as well, because I have seen Cody in Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan, AEW. I would love to see it more. But he's also in WWE, and they're trying to paint him out as like this super duper mega baby face. And when it comes to these super duper mega baby faces, you don't do these things with them. If you know the story of Romeo and Juliet, if you ever seen like that, the most recent film, which is the one where they're in LA, I think, they cut a part out where Romeo kills Paris, and it's because of the fact that they're trying to make him look like the hero. Had he killed Paris, it would have been like, bro, you killed Paris. Wait, hold on, dude. He's just literally guarding the tomb. He did nothing to you. Killing Tybalt, that's whatever. And by the way, if these are spoilers for you, buddy, apparently you didn't pay attention to school. That's on you. So yeah, but in the film they don't show it, but in the play they do show it. So not like the visual play, but like the written play. They do show it. So that's what they're doing with Cody Rhodes, basically. They're trying to keep him as a super duper mega babyface and trying to protect him and stuff like that, because, you know, you have to have Cody Rhodes looking like the good guy. Oh my gosh, I hate my stupid face ID. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't work. And it's just like, especially when I'm wearing a hoodie too. It's really dang annoying. But yeah, no, they're trying to keep him as a super duper mega babyface and protect him as much as they can so that he can be this era's John Cena for however many more years he has, which is probably like a good 4 to 5 years, because he already did say that he's retiring by the time he doesn't want to be full-time by the time he's like 45, so that could mean he's retiring. That could mean that maybe he cuts more into like a Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Randy Orton type of schedule, where he's not there every single dang week. Maybe he's not doing all the live shows, but he's just there for a lot of not the live shows. He's not there for the house shows, and he's not there every single dang week for the live shows, whether it be having a match or cutting a promo or traveling all around the world. Maybe he's just there, you know, every so often and stuff like that. But speaking of traveling, though, oh my gosh, man, we gotta talk about the William Ospreay and Hunter Hearst Helmsley beef that is resurfaced. Not thanks to one Chris Van Vliet, but because of the Chris Van Vliet interview talking about the whole Will Ospreay Triple H stuff that happened last year in 2024, literally early 2024, by the way, not even like late 2024. It's resurfaced, and everybody is calling out Will Ospreay and talking the most mess about him. All right, so like I said, these issues go all the way back to 2024, but honestly, you can go all the way back to 2023 with this, when Will Ospreay was a free agent, one of the biggest free agents in wrestling. Every single company wanted him, but he just wanted to be a contracted worker, so he was working with the likes of TNA, AEW, New Japan, and Triple H was like, obviously hurt by this, because it's Will freaking Ospreay. You want to sign this guy because he's a super duper mega star, and he's not only one of the like high flying acrobatic guys, but he can also speak on the mic as well. You don't really find those guys every single time, and I've been on record for saying that I think he is AJ Styles 2.0. This guy has every single thing that AJ Styles has. Heck, he might even be just a bit more athletic than him, even when AJ Styles was in his prime. So obviously Triple H was a bit hurt by this. He said that he wished he could have signed Will Ospreay, not AJ Styles, because he actually was one of the guys that got AJ Styles to WWE. But he was upset that he couldn't get Will Ospreay because he did really like the talent. He's seen how great he was. I don't know what happened between 2023 though and 2024, because eventually Will Ospreay did sign with AEW in late 2023. So I don't know if that's the issue, is that he just went to the competition and Triple H didn't like that. Maybe Will Ospreay in an interview had said, I'd just rather just work contracts and not really be signed to anybody. Now, Will does talk about the fact that he signed with AEW because of the fact that he's still able to live in the UK, but come to do shows in AEW, and that he doesn't have to keep just being on the road every single day and being away from his family, that he really does love that. So I can understand that. And also he said too that he has a lot of anxiety about moving to America as well, that he doesn't really feel the greatest about it. And from someone that lives in America, I can understand why you would say that, dude, because I have anxiety every single day of being here. But Triple H then was on a panel, and he was talking about how, if they're not going to be all in, if they're afraid of the grind, then I'm glad I didn't sign them. And I'm going to be real with you. I thought this was really petty, because of the fact that you just said, not even probably a few months before this, that you really wanted Will Ospreay. Now, people have said, okay, what if this is about Okada, because Okada was also a free agent? Yes, but Okada wasn't a big free agent, and there was also no reports of Okada going to go sign with WWE. So I don't think he was talking about Okada. And Will Ospreay did confirm that people at WWE said this was about you. Triple H's comments were about you. So Will Ospreay then, I think a week or two later, goes on AEW Dynamite, and he basically says it's crazy how folks are saying that I'm afraid of the grind when they had to grind on the old boss's daughter to get to the top. Very, very, left field with that. He definitely went as petty can be. I'm gonna be honest with you though, I'm never gonna tell somebody how to react, because these are literally just words. If he responded with violence, that'd be a different thing. He responded with words though. I ain't got no issue with this, man. Y'all both petty at the end of the day. But this whole issue to me just seems really stupid from Triple H's side. I'm going to be honest, because if you're that upset that Will Ospreay did sign with AEW, and so you want to say that he's afraid of the grind and all that, that doesn't make any sense when the dude was literally in Europe, working New Japan, going back and forth between Europe and Japan, and then also going over to TNA and working shows that were in America. And now he literally lives in Europe, he lives in Europe, but is coming all the way to America to work AEW show. That doesn't make any sense to say that he's afraid of the grind. And also, it's kind of just defamation of character in a sense as well, because it's just you're saying that the dude doesn't want to work to be at the top. Dude, he's probably one of the most high-risk wrestlers in the way he wrestles. Why would he want to wrestle every dang day with the way he does? His body would break down super quick. It would be like Seth Rollins, in my opinion. And we see now that Seth Rollins has a lot of things that he can't do because his body's broken down so much. This dude has so many back injuries and knee injuries because of just everything he's been through. So why would Will Ospreay want to also put himself through that? I think working a lighter schedule is better for someone like him. Heck, I'm even someone that said I want to see less matches from Will Ospreay so we can get more Will Ospreay into his late 30s, into his early 40s, because by the time he gets there, he's going to have to change his style up. He's not going to be able to do this insane, high-flying, acrobatic style. He's going to have to probably become more, no pun intended, of an AJ Styles, of an RVD type, where he has a lot more of these hard-hitting moves and less of these high-flying, acrobatic moves. He might even have to change style to more being more of a striker as well. In my opinion, I think that's where we would really see him start incorporating a lot of AJ Styles moves into his moveset as well. But yeah, I didn't like the shots taken by Triple H, and I don't like the shots taken by a lot of wrestling fans either right now, where they're starting to call Will Ospreay cocky and all this stuff, and that he has too big of an ego, and that he's lazy. And this is why I say I don't like the shots by Triple H, because it's just you know what you're doing with this. You know that when you do this, he's likely going to respond. You know that Will Ospreay is likely a very petty individual. Why would you even do it? And also, the people that are mad at Will Ospreay for bringing up Stephanie McMahon, one, the McMahons are a very sick family, and two, How many times has somebody said that Triple H grinded his way to the top by grinding on the boss's daughter? Everybody has said that. Is it corny? Yes. Is it not even a great shot? Yes, but it's a shot nonetheless. And also for the people that said that Renee Paquette was seeming like she was very disgusted by it, it's because she at the time was cool with Stephanie McMahon. I don't know her relationship now, but she probably did feel a bit uncomfortable because, you know, she's probably still cool with WWE herself. I'm pretty sure Jon Moxley's probably still cool with some people over there too. So it is a very, you know, and she's also a woman at the end of the day as well. And you're making derogatory comments about a woman. So I can understand why she's upset. And if you're a woman and you're saying these comments, I mean, if you're a woman and you're upset by Will Ospreay's things, I'm not saying that you can't be upset by that. I'm saying that we've heard this time and time again from multiple people about Triple H. So I'm pretty sure if Stephanie McMahon ever did have an issue with people saying it, she probably would have told people not to say it to begin with. Then again, knowing Vince McMahon, though, he probably would have told her, well, you know what, that's too bad because we're going to do this about 20,000 more times. So yeah, I just think that this whole thing is very, very petty in my opinion. Another thing I don't really like about this either is that like it just adds on more to the fact that like we're burning bridges. And Ash wants to see a world where we have all the wrestling companies working together. AEW, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, NXT, New Japan, Stardom, etc., etc., etc. I want to see that world because maybe I'm a little selfish, but I want to get like a new wrestling game that has all the dang companies in it so I could have Swerve Strickland versus Roman Reigns and I get the Swerve Strickland music coming out and I got to go create a wrestler Swerve Strickland versus Roman Reigns because it ain't the same, man. It just ain't the same, man. It don't really look alike. They don't got the same moveset either, man. I need to see a house call on Roman Reigns. Not because I want to see like Roman Reigns get kicked in his head or anything like that. It's just every time this man does a house call off a spear, it's chef's kiss. Absolutely beautiful. Swerve Strickland has one of the best counters in wrestling, in my opinion. But I really want to see this, but because of this, we're just burning more bridges by having folks have beef with each other. Like, there's so many people in AEW that do have issues, which is also why I don't understand why so many people don't believe that Will Ospreay has people at WWE who are telling him, yeah, no, this was about you. And Swerve Strickland literally said this on The Breakfast Club that people were pocket watching at WWE, and he knew because people in WWE were telling him that these people were pocket watching you, saying that you didn't earn the money that you got and that AEW overpaid for you and all that. And it was because apparently WWE was trying to lowball Swerve Strickland when they wanted to sign him back when he was I guess when his contract was coming to an end. We heard the same thing from Mercedes Moné when she left in 2022, that she felt that the company just didn't treat its black wrestlers correctly, and that specifically the black women wrestlers. You could say that Sasha and Bianca main evented and all that, but other than that, what did they really do with black women wrestlers? Not much. What did they really done with them since? Not really much either. Not until, as of recent with this WrestleMania season coming in. So I don't understand why people like just hold Triple H to this holier than thou standard and believe that he's like Jesus Christ himself. I think treating that man like that, it's really just setting your expectations so dang high so that when he does do something wrong, you're going to be so much more hurt by it. I think if you just like look at him and say he's a human, he's probably a very petty individual. He probably does say stuff behind people's backs. He probably has made comments about Swerve Strickland not earning the contract that he's earned. I think, just like, I believe these things. So when I watch WWE, when I see Triple H make the move that he makes, it doesn't really shock me too much. And I think a lot of people just are, I think too much people are big fans of Triple H, the wrestler, and because he is one of their legends. And because in wrestling, we do hold our legends to like a higher standard and we just act like they're untouchable, which I don't think they're untouchable at all. I've been on record saying I think Roman Reigns is better than almost every dang legend, Undertaker, Stone Cold, John Cena, etc., etc. But I think like when we hold them to these standards that they're just untouchable, then we don't allow them to be criticized. And when you don't allow something to be criticized that you love, that's when it just becomes stale and boring. Yes, Triple H does do some pretty good things. There are some pretty good booking decisions that he's made, but there's also some things that he's done wrong. And I think if you don't hold him to the standard of being a human, then you just allow this man to get away with whatever he wants to get away with. And that's how you kind of get a Vince McMahon 2.0 in a sense, because that's how Vince McMahon was viewed for a very long time. And look what kind of man that he turned into. But speaking of that whole AEW partnership, or WWE partnership, there's actually been some interesting reports that have came out about one Dustin Rhodes. So the reports about Dustin Rhodes is that AEW and WWE are setting up for Dustin Rhodes to make a WWE appearance, even though he is still contracted with AEW. And I love this, man. I absolutely love this because I think Dustin Rhodes is going to add so much to this Cody John Cena story. I think there might even be a moment where Dustin comes out to protect Cody Rhodes, and here comes John Cena to start just stomping out Dustin Rhodes. Maybe even The Rock gets involved as well. And whoever's aligned with the whole corporate champion, corporation thingamajiggy, whatever you want to call that faction with Travis Scott. It's so sick, man. But I think Dustin Rhodes will end up getting attacked by them. It's just going to add more to the story. So when Cody does go into WrestleMania, you have Cody versus Cena. People are going to be even more rooting for Cody now that Dustin also got taken out. And then when Cody loses, it's going to be so dang heartbreaking because I 1000% believe that Cody Rhodes is going to lose. I don't think he's going to win. There's no reason to turn John Cena heel. And then you have Cody Rhodes win. That just wouldn't make any sense at all. But I'm super happy for this because I think it also helps my my statement that I was making in the last episode that I think that there's a world where Tony Khan does allow Cope to get either bought out or allows Cope to go back to WWE to be able to work with John Cena in this in his final year in wrestling because, like I said, Tony Khan is a mark, man. This dude absolutely loves wrestling. He is a wrestling fanatic. We've heard stories of Bobby Lashley saying that this guy was talking about matches that happened 20 years ago and all that, and that he's definitely a super big wrestling fan. Tony Khan would love to see Dustin Rhodes be involved in Cody versus Cena storyline because he's also really cool with Cody Rhodes as well. Excuse me, I started dying for a second. My goodness, This dang bronchitis, dude, it does not go away within like a week. Oh my gosh, man. But I think because Tony does love wrestling so much that maybe there was talks around Dustin going there last year with the whole Roman Reigns feud with Cody Rhodes, but it wouldn't have been as good in my opinion because this one is a lot more personal. Cody getting turned on by John Cena, who was literally not only helping him in the match, but then they're celebrating with him while his wife, his daughter, and his mama was right there. This is so much more personal. So if you do involve Dustin, especially with the way that The Rock has already said, this will be the night where this will be the night where another dream dies, which was, that was absolutely disrespectful in my opinion. I didn't really like that shot too much, just me personally, but I thought that was very corny in my opinion. But I think adding him to this whole storyline would just do so much more for it. So I could see a world now that we're starting to get these talks between AEW and WWE, especially with AEW allowing Rey Fenix to get bought out instead of waiting like a few more months. He obviously still can't wrestle because of the whole contract thing. You have to get to wait like 30 to 60 days to actually wrestle. There is a world where we could get an AEW WWE Forbidden Door, and dude, the matches that we could get, I need the four horsewomen one last time in a match, and I think I need Mercedes to be put over in that match, but I need to see Mercedes versus Charlotte versus Becky versus Bayley all at the primes of their career, because their first match was really dang good. These are much more seasoned wrestlers. These are much more psychological in the ring wrestlers. Oh my gosh, it'd be absolutely beautiful. I need to see potentially Swerve versus Roman. I need to see potentially Seth versus Will. Heck, let me even get a blood feud of CM Punk and Jack Perry. Oh my gosh, yes, I absolutely need that. It's going to be so dang beautiful. Oh my gosh, man. Speaking of that whole CM Punk thing real quick, I actually read to talk about this earlier. I really do hate the fact that Roman Reigns is getting involved in this whole CM Punk, Seth Rollins storyline because of the fact that Roman Reigns really only needs to be in the storyline because he has nothing else to do at WrestleMania. When he could have just been wrestling Drew instead of Drew wrestling Damien, but I guess we needed something for Damien to do as well. But hey, you could have thrown him in like a U.S. title match, a U.S. title ladder match, and then, you know, just done that. And then you could have Roman versus Drew. You could have Seth versus CM Punk because Seth and CM Punk have an actual blood feud, and adding Roman into this, it's not as good to me. I think Roman Reigns is going to get involved, though, because of the fact that he's going to get involved in a steel cage match, accidentally spears CM Punk. Seth Rollins is going to go for the curb stomp on him, go for the curb stomp of CM Punk, get the win. Punk's going to be mad at Roman because he got involved in this business. I don't really like all that. Instead, I'd rather have Roman versus Swerve. Let me get the AEW WWE Forbidden Door this year at WrestleMania and give me these two in a match. It would be absolutely phenomenal. Oh, my gosh. I want to see the spear to the... I want to see the house call to the spear counter. It's gonna be so beautiful. But there's so many matches that we could possibly sound like a Pokemon that we could possibly get Even like some great women's matches as well, like Roxanne versus Chris Statlander. Oh yes, sign me up. Megan Bayne versus Jade Cargill, sign me up. Megan Bayne versus Bianca Belair, sign me up. Chris Statlander versus Rhea Ripley, sign me up. Harley Cameron, Chelsea Green, yes, I need all of this, man. It's gonna be absolutely amazing if we finally do get this partnership, because I said a while back that Vince McMahon kind of just ruined things for any potential partnerships because of how he treated New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers, how he also talked down on New Japan, how he had issues with TNA, how he had issues with Ring of Honor. A lot of these wrestlers, didn't want to go there. They didn't. They felt like they weren't respected. Heck, AJ Styles said that when he got there, he felt like Vince McMahon didn't even know who the heck he was and that he never watched any one of his matches. So he just ruined so dang much for a lot of the wrestling world. I really do hope, though, that, maybe Triple H is able to fix a lot of these issues, and that, potentially we could see some big partnerships of AEW, of WWE, the two biggest wrestling companies in America. Maybe we even get, the WWE and New Japan partnership, because we know that New Japan does have a lot of issues with WWE because of the way Vince McMahon was, that maybe Triple H can smoothen some of those relationships out. We have seen AEW and New Japan being able to work together. I would love to see a world where maybe Ring of Honor and TNA work together. Maybe we get to see Athena versus Masha Slamovich. Maybe we even get to see Athena versus someone like Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair as well. I would like to see Ring of Honor and NXT partnerships. I would like to see AEW and NXT partnerships, because I think that would help a lot of those NXT wrestlers out, because they do need a lot of in-ring experience that I feel like they may not be getting right now in NXT, because a lot of it is just NIL athletes. But if you put them up against, some real wrestlers, so to speak, it's really going to help just their overall development. I think being able to have AEW work with WWE is going to help their development as well, because like I've said before, I think AEW's biggest issue right now is some of their mic workers just ain't mic working. They're not doing their job. I think someone like Orange Cassidy, if he was to go to WWE or even Hook, they would come back 10 times better on the mic. But I think it could happen. I think it could happen. I think AEW and WWE could get a really, really good partnership going on between Tony Khan and between Triple H. You could even see some guys and gals from WWE go over to AEW and really be able to pick up be able to pick up that in-ring ability that a lot of these wrestlers in AEW do have, because I think something that's also hurting WWE right now is some of their wrestlers aren't the greatest in the ring, or at least aren't able to show it. It could be one of the two. So being able to, really help each other become just two powerhouses is going to be so well. And then obviously, you have the WWE TNA partnership. I think eventually WWE is probably going to own TNA, or somebody from WWE is going to own TNA. That's going to basically be like WWE owning TNA in the way that Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor, where he literally owns it because he bought it. So then we can get just so much beautiful stuff, man. So much beautiful stuff. It's going to be an absolutely amazing time if we ever do get AEW, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, NXT, Stardom, Marigold, TGPW, etc., 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 etc. One big old, beautiful, amazing wrestling league. Oh my gosh, it would just be so much fun. It'd be so beautiful. And it would help so many wrestlers as well coming up as well. They'd have a much easier time with getting in. They wouldn't feel like, if they go one place, or they're going to rub people the wrong way. Is it going to ruin any of their relationships? So I am so here for that, man. I absolutely need this partnership between all these dang companies, because it's just best for business, man, like John Cena said. And it's also best for Ash, because Ash gets a super duper mega awesome wrestling game with all the dang companies. Just don't be made by 2K. Please, for the love of all that is good, do not be made by 2K. Gosh, that company freaking sucks, man. Oh my gosh. But with that, though, let's go ahead and talk about the top 5 wrestlers that I believe are going to break out this year. And I'm starting off with number 5, Trick Williams. It sounds crazy. I know. Trick Williams, North American champion, 2-time NXT champion. There's no way that he would be the breakout guy. But I think it actually makes a lot of sense, because we all believe that Trick Williams is going to be like one of the next faces of WWE. If you actually have some faith in him. A lot of people don't believe he's going to be the face, though, and a lot of people believe that he's going to be a flop because of the fact that his mic, character, and ring skills just aren't really matching up to the aura. They're not really matching up to the hype, and a lot of people are actually downplaying them even more than they probably should, because I don't think his mic skills are that bad. I think right now he probably is a 2 out of 5 on the mic, but that's not the worst, because I think he's shown that ability to be a 4 out of 5 on the mic. I think he's shown that ability to be amazing in the ring, even though right now I think his mic character and ring work is all a 2 out of 5. I think he's had those glimpses, though, showing that he can be great. And I think what it might just be is that maybe he needs to just play the heel. Maybe he's not fit to be a face. Look at Randy Orton. Look at Roman Reigns. They both said these things coming up, that they weren't ready to be a baby face, that it just wasn't for them. And so, like, when you look at those parts of their career, it looks really bad, because you're like, this did not work at all. These guys clearly are not the guy that they're saying that they are. And I think the same thing might be true about Trick Williams as well. So I think he might have an actual breakout this year, very similar to how Roman and Randy had breakouts, even though they were like multi-time champions before ever breaking out. And I really hope that is the case for Trick Williams, because I do like Trick Williams, man. I really like the aura. I absolutely love his entrance. I think he's a really, really cool dude. He also played for my Eagles as well for a minute. So, hey, man, shout out to my bad hitting the mic. Shout out to my dog, man. You know, you play with my team, man. I got a little bit of love for you, man. You know, I got a little bit of love for you. But I really do hope the best over Trick Williams. Like, obviously, Eagles fandom aside, I really do want to see him succeed, because look at, man, I love seeing my black wrestlers succeed, all right, man? I love seeing them succeed. I want to see Trick Williams be the face of a company. I want to see Obafemi be a face of the company. I want to see Jade do amazing. I want to see Bianca do amazing. And I want to also see my other people as well, too, because I'm also Hispanic as well, so I want to see my luchadors doing their thing. I want to see Dominic Mysterio on top soon. But I think Trick Williams, you know, playing into this heel role may help him out so much than a lot of people thought, and he could always transition back to a face. Look at Roman Reigns. This guy was getting called a face this past year, even though he said, I ain't changed. I still want all the gold. I still want to be on top. The camera's mine. The ring is mine. That WWE Championship mine. All this is mine. Apparently, he's a face, though. Hey, but Daniel Bryan was a heel, though, right? All this dude wanted to do was save the world. Oh my gosh, man, y'all are so fickle. But I think Trick Williams, though, this is definitely gonna help him out, and he's gonna have a breakout year this year as he does transition into a heel. Now at number 4, we got Ludwig Kaiser. I think we're already starting to see a little bit of this breakout in a sense, because, you know, we're starting to see him a lot more on the screen, and he's starting to look a little more competent in his matches and not just getting beat up every single dang time. And I'm glad that he was able to break away from Gunther. I think that's actually the start of his push, was that Gunther telling him, you need to go do things on your own. Go get it on your own and stop just always being around me. And I'm going to be real with you, man. Like a few others have said to me before, I think Ludwig is better than Gunther, man. I truthfully think he is. I think he has the mic work is better. I think the character work is a bit better. I think the ring work, in my opinion, is just a bit better as well. I want to see great things from Ludwig, man. I think he's somebody that could be like akin to a Miz, where he's just a multi-time mid-card champion, and that's what his Hall of Fame career is at. He might get a world champion or two. He might sneak one in there like how the Miz was able to do. But I think for the most part, he's going to be a multi-time IC champion, multi-time U.S. champion. Heck, maybe he's even somebody that could actually revive the U.S. championship as well and really bring some prestige back to it. I hope so, man, because Ludwig has it all, in my opinion. I think the only thing he just doesn't have is, like, he's not a super big, bulky dude, but I don't think he needs to bulk up. I think this slimmer build actually fits Ludwig a lot more, in my opinion, and I want to just continue seeing more from him. I think this feud with Penta has been really good. I think the feud with or the storyline with Pete Dunne has been really good. I don't know if it's a feud or not, whatever the heck it is. I think the feud with Sheamus was really good. The feud that he had also with Braun Breaker going into that was really dang good as well. So I do want to see Ludwig win, and honestly, I think what should happen is, I think Sheamus should be involved in this multi-man match at WrestleMania. I think he should win the IC title, and I think Ludwig Kaiser should take it off of him, or we can go the route of Ludwig Kaiser, you know, rolls up Sheamus, and this just breaks so many people's heart because everybody wants to see Sheamus be a Grand Slam champion, and that's how Ludwig becomes the new IC title champion. And then we get the feud with Ludwig and Braun, probably Ludwig and Sheamus as well. You would do that one. I think he should beat both of them, in my opinion, and then maybe lose it to Sheamus down the line so that Sheamus can become like can become a Grand Slam champion, because that's actually going to do a lot for Ludwig as well. Because if Sheamus gets the Grand Slam championship on Ludwig, every time we talk about, yo, how did Sheamus become a Grand Slam champion again? Oh, he beat Ludwig. that helps him so much more because it just keeps his name as relevant as possible. So when you want to give him another IC title championship run, or you potentially want to give him a World Heavyweight Championship run, his name is still being brought up so he doesn't get lost in the sauce like a lot of other wrestlers do. So I think Ludwig Kaiser 2025 is going to have a big breakout this year, akin to one Bronson Reed of last year. And at number 3, I got B-Fab, man. She's getting a match against Charlotte Flair next Friday. I think that this is going to be the start of her breakout. Obviously, she's going to lose this match. I don't think she wins at all. I think Chelsea Green and them might even get involved as well. But I think that B-Fab is going to get a semi-push this year to see what they have with her. And I think the mic work, it's definitely there. The character work, it's pretty dang good. The ring work, it's improving. And I think with a little semi-push, maybe she could even go back down to NXT, get maybe like the NXT Women's North American Championship, and then go back up to WWE within like the next year or two, and maybe start getting a push for that mid-card title. Maybe get a push for that US Championship, for that IC Championship. Maybe she even gets like in a World Championship picture. She probably won't win it unless she does extremely improve, but if that's the case, I am here for B-Fab, man. Maybe not the name. I don't like the name too much. Or maybe we could change that name up a bit. Maybe we even get like this whole big old heel turn where she changes her name up or something like that. The name just doesn't really do it for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like it, but I do think, though, that she has a really big chance of being a breakout star this year and being somebody that just shows, kind of similar to Meechin and Chelsea Green, that there is a lot more than just the top of Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss and all these others and Naomi, that, you know, there is some women in this lower to mid-card tier that, you know, can do some things as well, that are very talented as well. And I think B-Fab is one of those women. So maybe she doesn't even she doesn't even need to go down to NXT. Maybe she could easily just stay up on the main roster and eventually get that push. Although I think going down to NXT would help would help out more with just like the aura sense of things and be able to really, you know, elevate her to a height that she starts getting a big push behind her, similar to how like Cora Jade went to TNA and got like a big push behind her. I think the same thing could happen with B-Fab. Send her back up to the main roster, and boom, now she's one of your like mid-card stars. So I see great things from B-Fab this year. She's had pretty dang good matches against Chelsea Green. I think she's had probably the best matches that are non-stipulation matches or non-gimmicky matches against Chelsea Green, obviously, because I feel like Meechin's had the best matches when it comes to gimmicks. Meechin is like a gimmick. She a gimmick merchant, man, because you put her in a gimmicky match, it's top tier. You put her in a regular match, it's not the greatest, especially that stupid long back attack. I think it's really, really bad. But I want to see big things from B-Fab this year, and I think it's going to happen. At number 2, though, we got one Brian Keith, the Bad Apple himself, is going to go back to the Bounty Hunter. I think he's going to finally turn on one Chris Jericho. It's long overdue, in my opinion. I think he's going to also be the next Ring of Honor World Champion. And maybe with this big old turn, if he does do it on Ring of Honor, it's just going to help out Ring of Honor so much because the company more or less has just been kind of dead over the past few years. Athena is really carrying it on her back. Like when we talk about wrestlers carrying a company on their back, Athena, oh my gosh, dude, we need to somebody needs to give them her spine because I just know that hers is like gone to it has just been destroyed, man. I think it's just been disintegrated. I don't even know how she's still walking, but she has been carrying it. So I think getting a big Brian Keith turn on Chris Jericho and turning him back into a face and allowing him to be the bounty hunter and allowing him to kind of run Ring of Honor in a sense along with Athena, that's going to be so dang good for him, man. And I think he's someone that's extremely talented, dude. The Will Ospreay match that I seen this past week, he had a match with Bandito as well. Like, he is just somebody that's so underutilized that I want to see great things from. I think his mic work and his character work are absolutely phenomenal as well. I really feel like this dude has it all. Like, I think he's one of the guys in AEW that his mic work is top tier, man. It really, really is. And his character work is just as good, in my opinion. I think he's like a 4 out of 5 on the mic right now, dude. He's just someone I want to see a big push from, man. He's similar to me for like Billy Starks. I think they're just both so dang phenomenal, and they're kind of just being like, you know, underutilized right now. Well, Billy Starks is actually being utilized a bit more, but I feel like he just has it all, and he's only like 32 years old, so I feel like he still has a lot of time to continue to develop into whatever they think that they need him to develop into. But I think he could be like a breath of fresh air for Ring of Honor, and he'll obviously appear more on Ring of Honor, so he'll have the champion actually there, being able to be shown off, having great matches against people, going up against the likes of Bandito, the likes of Lee Moriarty, the likes of Shane Taylor, the likes of whoever the heck else is on there. I don't really remember everybody else that's on Ring of Honor, I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's someone named Blake Martin. No, like Blake something, man, or Caleb something. I don't know, man. I really don't know, to be honest. Again, I don't watch much Ring of Honor. I'm gonna be real with you, man. I really just watch it for Athena and Billy Starks, and that's about it. But I do want to see Brian Keith become the next Ring of Honor World Champion, turn on Chris Jericho, and I think it does happen this year, because I think it's got to happen, man. Like, who else is going to dethrone Chris Jericho? I don't think it's going to be Jon Moxley, although I did make a video in the back in the day that if Jon Moxley was to get turned on, if Jon Moxley was to do anything after the AEW World Championship, it could be potentially reviving one Ring of Honor. Kind of similar to how like Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali did by going to TNA. I won't say like it needed revival by any means, because it was starting to get on the up and up because of Jordan Grace, but that men's division really needed something, and they breathed a breath of fresh air into it. So maybe Jon Moxley could be that guy that goes there. But I think I'd rather see Brian Keith be the guy that turns on Chris Jericho and then eventually gets that Ring of Honor World Championship. Now, speaking of Ring of Honor, I actually just mentioned her name, Billy Starks. I think this is a super big year for Billy Starks. I believe she's going to get a match against Mercedes Moné. It's going to be a phenomenal match. If you watch the Hammerstein match against Athena at Final Battle, it was just absolutely phenomenal. That main event was just beautiful. I think Billy Starks has every single thing it takes to be a top-tier wrestler within the women's division and just be one of the pillars going forward. She's only like 21 years old. I think she has so much time to grow. Her mic work and her character work are only getting better every single time I see her. And like I said, her ring work is just phenomenal, man. I think right now she's probably like a 3.5 out of 4, like 3.5 to 4 in the ring. I think for the most part, she's like, when she goes up against like the likes of Athena or any like top women competitors, she looks phenomenal. She can match them. When she goes up against the lesser ones, that's where it's like, starts looking a little iffy. But I think Billy Starks has it all, and now we're starting to see her on AEW more. I think that's starting to kind of show us that, you know, she probably is going to get a little bit of a push. You know, you're bringing it to the show really before you even bring Athena to the show. But I do think this also leads to Athena and Mercedes Moné having a big old feud as well. But yeah, no, I am just super excited for the future of Billy Starks, man, because I have a lot of stock invested into her. I think she's going to be phenomenal. I think she's going to be a great women's world champion someday, whether she remains in Ring of Honor, whether she goes to AEW or goes up to AEW, whether she transfers companies to like a WWE or TNA, wherever she goes. I think she has future world champion written all over her, and I'm super excited to see the future of one Billy Starks. But from the breakout stars on over to the current stars, the NXT stars, let's talk about the NXT champions and who is going to be throwing each of them. We have the NXT champion of one Obafemi, the NXT women's champion of Julia, North American champion of Shawn Spears, North American women's champion of Stephanie Vaquer, Fraxium are the NXT tag team champion, and Lexis King is the current Heritage Cup champion. So if you look at the order when it goes to Heritage Cup, it's usually Heritage Cup winner becomes the eventual North American winner, and North American winner becomes the eventual NXT champion. So if that is going to be true, then I think the guy who would dethrone one Lexis King is actually going to be Javon Evans. I don't think he's going to get the North American Championship or the NXT Championship just yet. I think that'll be coming down the line. He is still really young, has a lot to improve on. We don't need to throw him into those lights yet by rushing him to be one of these top guys. We can give it time. And I think by having him become the Heritage Cup champion, that right there is showing that we believe in him, but we also know that he has a lot of areas to improve, so we're going to give it time. Now, if he does become that, does that mean that Lexis King becomes the North American champion? Not necessarily, because I think Lexis King does have it all. I think what Lexis King is running into right now, though, is a Ricky Saints problem, where I think Ricky Saints has to become a champion sometime soon, because when you signed Ethan Page, you made him a dang champion within like 50 days, and I don't think he's going to dethrone Obafemi. That would be absolutely crazy. But I could see Ricky Saints possibly dethroning one Shawn Spears, because Shawn Spears is probably like a transitional champion. I don't think he's going to hold it for that long. He might even lose it at Stand and Deliver to one Ricky Saints, and it's going to be, you know, the push for Ricky Saints, because then eventually Ricky Saints, I think, will be one of the guys to get the NXT championship before going up to the main roster. So who becomes the NXT champion. Because like I said, it goes Heritage Cup, North American, NXT Championship. Does that mean that Shawn Spears is going to be the next NXT championship or champion? No. So this is actually a hard one. This is honestly the hardest of ones to pick because I don't think Tony D'Angelo would be the next NXT champion because I don't think he's going to dethrone Obafemi. You're probably not going to run that back again. I think you really want to continue to protect Obafemi, so you're probably not going to go Tony dethroning him. I think we might lean into a different direction here, and we might have Tony eventually be NXT champion because I think he does have everything it needs to be a star. I think this guy could be a mid-card champion. It could be a staple in the mid-card division, similar to one Ludwig Kaiser. I really love the family gimmick. I've been loving Tony D'Angelo for a long time, ever since that NXT versus NXT 2.0 War Games match. So I could see a world where he gets it down the line, but I think the guy that's gonna get it after Obafemi might end up being a TNA star. I could see a world where if Cora Jade does win the TNA Knockouts Championship, I could see Moose, I could see Mustafa getting that NXT Championship, or maybe even Joe Hendry, and that's how they smooth him into WWE. Because I know his contract does end up this year, so I think he might end up losing that TNA Championship with like the next few months, and then you have him go to officially go over to NXT, and then he dethrones Obafemi for the NXT Championship. I wouldn't really like that because I think like Joe Hendry is cool and all. Hey man, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry, the mic worker and the character worker, not really the ring worker. I'm not the biggest fan of his in-ring work. I think it's kind of like a bit LA Knight-ish, but just nowhere near as interesting as LA Knight in any of the areas, in my opinion. So yeah, I wouldn't really like that too much, but we know WWE, if they sign somebody to a big contract and if they're signing a free agent, it's a big name free agent, they're going to put some belts on them within a few months. So I could see the potential of of Joe Hendry coming over to NXT and then dethroning one Obafemi. Hopefully it's in like a multi-man match at least. So maybe like he rolls up like somebody else, and then, maybe they have like one more match between Joe Hendry and Obafemi. And then like Obafemi does lose via whatever. I don't know. Maybe somebody gets involved in the match and that causes him to go to the main roster. But I think he is main roster bound very, very soon. I don't think it'd be like right after Stand and Deliver. I think it'd probably be like a few months afterwards, so you could at least dethrone him properly and not dethrone him within like a few months of having the belt, man. We got to have Obafemi have an actual run with this dang thing. We have some really good matches with the wrestlers as well. I'm super excited for the Moose match. I want to see more big matches, though, from him that involve just him showing exactly who he is. And I think that does, I think his, I think this run is going to show that. I think it's not going to be similar to Trick Williams where it was like, are you the guy? I think this run will show that Obafemi is indeed the guy. And I think eventually, though, Joe Hendry will get that NXT championship from him. Now, on the women's side of things, we have the Women's North American Championship. This one is so odd, man, because you have Jordynne Grace there, who is the big signing that I just said WWE grabs their big signings and puts belts onto them. So wouldn't she be the woman that would be the next North American Women's Championship, North American Women's Champion? But then you also have Julia, who is having a title match with Stephanie Vaquer. Are they actually going to have Julia be the first double champion, or are they going to go to the route of Stephanie Vaquer being the first double champion? I think somebody might get involved in this match. I'm going to be real with you. Then you also have Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker, who are feuding right now. I think this feud, it's not a number one contenders feud by any means, but I do think that this feud is going to push one of them eventually into getting a match for the North American Women's Championship. It just depends on what happens with Stephanie and Julia, because I feel like if Stephanie or Julia, like if Stephanie, okay, whoever holds the belts afterwards, whether it's Stephanie or Julia, I don't think they're going to lose those belts in like a few months. I think it's going to be like at least 5-6 months down the line when they lose those belts, because if you're going to have the first double champion, they got to have a significantly long reign with both belts. So it's really going to stifle a lot of the division if they do end up doing that, which is why I don't think they're going to end up doing that. I think somebody's going to get involved in this match so that they're not able to have it. I know there is reports that Julia is hurt, so maybe somebody goes after Julia. Maybe Stephanie even turns heel here against Julia and takes her out, and then somebody else maybe like Stephanie then drops the North American title to somebody, or maybe somebody else gets that belt. Maybe like a Jordynne Grace gets that belt, the NXT Championship to be specific, not the North American Championship. I can see that happening. If somebody else does get involved, though, I think the person who would dethrone one Stephanie Valkyrie, I'm going to go with Kalani Jordan. I think she becomes the first 2-time North American Women's Champion. No, you know what? No, actually, I take that back. I think Jordan Grace. I'm going to go Jordan Grace because I think Kalani Jordan is actually going to be the one dethroning one Julia. I think they have so much faith in Kalani Jordan, man. And showing that she could play both a face and sort of a semi-heel and do it really dang well and really believable, I think they're going to start pushing her to the absolute moon. I think Kalani Jordan is going to be a future star in the company. I think she's going to be one of those, I think she falls in like that Bayley archetype in a sense where like she could play the heck out of a face, but she is a bit better when it does come to a heel. And honestly, I really, really like Kalani Jordan, man. I'm someone that I got to apologize again, man, that Kalani Jordan has shown me a lot. I did not believe the whole face thing, and I was very skeptical of her ever being a heel because I was like, it's just not going to work, man. Not everybody can play a heel, but she's playing the heck out of this character, man. She's going absolutely phenomenal with it. So I think that she might end up getting the NXT championship from Julia, and I think Jordan Grace might end up getting that NXT North American championship from Stephanie Valkyrie. Although, like I said, there's also the very real possibility that Stephanie or Julia does win this match, and they're like, you know what, one of these two are going to be our first our first double women's champion in NXT. And if that's the case, then I'm going with Stephanie. I think Stephanie has a lot more than Julia, in my opinion. I think she's shown a lot more. I think the charisma is a lot better. I think the in-ring is just a lot better, in my opinion, as well. It's no slight towards Julia. I think Julia is cool. I'm not the biggest fan of her by any means. I've been very vocal on that. I don't really like super technical wrestlers that just don't have the greatest charisma in the ring. So yeah, I think if you're gonna go with one of the two, it's got to be Stephanie to be the first double champion, and then if that happens, like I said, it's gonna stifle the heck out of the division, man. Just look at what happened when Roman became double champion. Raw sucked. There was nothing there. There was nobody. It was not interesting. It was boring. It was just the worst thing in the world. So I hope we don't get a double champion. I hope that they just allow something to happen here, whether it be Stephanie turning heel, Jordan Grace getting involved, Cora getting involved, somebody getting involved. I want to see that, although I would want to see Jordan Grace turn heel because Jordan Grace is an absolute tank and just looks like she'd be the perfect kind of heel in my opinion. So, yeah, but hey, y'all go ahead and let me know down below who do y'all think is going to dethrone every current NXT champion. If you're listening to this on Spotify, by the way, I think there is a comment section as well. But if you are on Spotify and you want to watch the video version, there is also the links in the description of the the link in the description of the description that has a whole beacon so you can check out my YouTube and all that stuff, and you can watch the video version of this. If you're on YouTube and you want to watch it on Spotify, there's also a Spotify version of this as well. So yeah, but hey, look at, man, NXT, that's developmental. We got to talk about the stars of today, talking about one SmackDown, like I said earlier, and we got to give Miss Naomi her flowers, man. It's about time, dude. Oh my gosh, man. Look, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm critical of Naomi because I don't like the fact that her and Sasha walked out of WWE and she went right back to WWE. I personally don't like it. I feel like it's kind of like a slap in the face to to Mercedes, but her and Mercedes are still cool, it seems. So, you know what? It's whatever, man. But I will say this. Naomi needs to be giving her flowers, dude. That performance that she put on with Bianca was just absolutely beautiful, man. It showed how amazing of an actor she is. It showed how amazing of a character she can play. I'm super here ready for heel Naomi, although Naomi need to probably stop wearing heels because she couldn't run from Jade because of them dang heels. Also, Jade had an absolutely phenomenal outfit, man. Oh my goodness, she looks so dang cool in that outfit. Also, once again, she needs to be the next Storm. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be mad, man. Like, come on, man. The woman could play Storm. She looks like Storm, for crying out loud. But yeah, Naomi, you got to change out of the heels, man. You're messing with Jade. You're going to need to get a flamethrower or something like that because it's just not going to work. But I absolutely love this. I also tried telling folks that Naomi did this for Bianca because she felt bad that Bianca had to carry Jade in a sense. I knew they were going to play into that whole rumor by Dave Meltzer that Bianca feels that she has to carry Jade and that Jade is just holding her down and all that stuff, which is why I do believe that Triple H is doing a lot of these storylines to poke fun at at Dave Meltzer, which I love it, man. I love it. I'm very critical of Triple H. I don't really like a lot of his character. Not like his in-ring character, but like his actual character, the people he'd be around and all that stuff that he'd be associating with. But I will say, man, I love pettiness, man. Pettiness is one of my favorite things in the world. I'm definitely a very petty individual myself. So I love it. But Naomi, look at, man, I said like a few weeks ago that Naomi is top 5 within the SmackDown Women's division. Folks was debating with me on this, man. It was a pretty heated argument. Not a pretty heated argument, pretty heated discussion on live. I said it goes like this. I said I think Naomi's at 5. I think that no. I want to say this. I think the top 5, I have no order. It's Bianca, it's Nia, it's Naomi, it's Alexa, and it's Charlotte, in my opinion. You can really go in whatever order you want to go in. I think I got Nia at number 1 because I think she was the best champion of 2024. She really held it down, in my opinion. But other than that, you can go in any other order. Folks were saying that Tiffany Stratton. I'm like, bruh, just give Naomi time, man. Just watch when Naomi is finally allowed to cook. We're going to see exactly who's better between her and Tiffany Stratton. And I'm going to be real with you. Naomi has already shown she's better in ring than Tiffany. Now she just showed that she's better on the mic and in the character than Tiffany. And I'm going to be honest, you're not swapping her out. She's stamped from this top 5. I mean, she is stamped in this top 5. I don't think there's anybody else there. I think you can make real arguments between her and Alexa, her and Charlotte. I think, especially right now, we can make some really good arguments between the two. You can make some really good arguments between Naomi and Bianca as well. So I just think that Naomi really needs to be given her flowers, man. I want to see a big run happen with her this year as a heel, whether it be the U.S. Championship, whether it be the WWE Women's Championship. Maybe Charlotte gets it off of Tiffany, and then Naomi gets it off of Charlotte. Although I really want to see Jade get off of Charlotte because, hey, man, Jade is just showing me a lot, man. These attacks, bro, I'm ready to see her in the match. I am super ready to see her in a match. I think her first match back, though, should be like a street fight of sorts so that she can kind of just go crazy in the match because she's obviously still improving because she is still very green in the ring. I think allow her to be in a street fight, though. This gives her just more time to continue working on her ring skills and stuff and such like that. Man, it's going to be phenomenal, though, when her and Naomi just get in the ring. I know they're going to tear it down. It's going to be a phenomenal match. Whether whoever wins, whoever loses, I really don't care. I think Jade does win. And if you have Naomi lose, if there's a world where Bianca wins the Women's World Championship off of Io Sky, you could easily move Naomi to Raw and have Naomi and Bianca feud because it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal feud because the storyline's already there. It's just, it's going to be so dang beautiful. I think they're going to start playing into like this whole sociopath kind of character as well, where Naomi's just like so admired by one Bianca Belair and believes that Bianca is just like one of the greatest women in WWE and that she doesn't get the respect she deserves, and she's gonna kind of almost in a sense play like how Mariah May was doing with Toni Storm as well. I can see that happening. It's just gonna be a phenomenal feud, man. We really do need that. I hope it is for the Women's World Championship, and heck, I could even see a world where Naomi does dethrone Bianca as well. So yeah, no, we got to give Naomi her dang flowers. I do also, though, want to talk about Naomi versus Jade because, like I said, I think this should be a street fight. I'm super excited for this. I don't think it needs to be like a 3-match feud, though. I think it could easily just be like a one-off. I think it should happen at WrestleMania as well because you're going to give Jade her WrestleMania moment. Heck, I could even see a world where, like, if it isn't a street fight and you do have, like, Naomi versus Jade going into, like, Saturday night's main event, maybe, like, it ends in a DQ because, or, like, it just never starts because, like, Naomi just, goes crazy against Jade and is just destroying her with weapons and all that stuff, and then that leads into their WrestleMania match, and this is where Jade comes out on top. I think that would be perfect as well. I would not mind that at all. Honestly, I really do want to see that. I like sometimes when matches are set up and they don't happen because of the fact that, somebody's just so mad at the other. Kind of like how Randy Orton and Kevin Owens were at, was that Crown Jewel? I think that might have been Crown Jewel where the match was supposed to happen and we just didn't get it because obviously they just tore the dang house down. I want to see that between Naomi and Jade. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. This feud is going to be really dang good. But that Naomi Bianca feud is going to hit, man. It's going to hit. I truthfully believe there's a world where I said Toni versus Mariah is the best women's feud of all time. I believe there's a world where if we get Naomi versus Bianca, this could be one of the best women's feuds of all time because of how great both of these women are at acting. And that's really what helps a feud, is that not just you're in ring, but also how the heck can you play the character? How the heck can you talk on the mic? Are you an amazing actor, actress? And I think both of these women are just that, and this feud is going to cook when we eventually get it. I'm so here for it, man, and it needs to be for a belt as well. There needs to be a belt involved too, in my opinion. But the other big thing that I want to talk about from Friday Night SmackDown is the tag team division because it's starting to finally cook now. Last year it wasn't looking that good when you had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller be the tag team champions because a lot of us were just waiting for these guys to break up. I think, was it DIY that dethroned them, and then, yeah, no, DIY dethroned them, and then the Tongans dethroned DIY. It's just because DIY was just not a big enough name, and the Bloodline were super big, and they wanted to put the belts on them, obviously, for that whole storyline as well. And then they eventually lost it to MCMG, and I think MCMG coming to SmackDown really did help out WWE a lot. And maybe it was like a blessing in disguise that Rey Fenix couldn't come over with Penta, because now you were able to put MCMG on the main roster instead of the NXT tag division. Because in your tag division, like, it would have been cool, like, I mean, with Fraxium and MCMG and all that, but your main roster just would have taken such a hit, man. It would have just been like the Tongans with the belt the entire time. Maybe you put DIY, like, maybe you get the belts back to DIY. I don't know if they would have done that, though, in my opinion. Like, I think MCMG needed to come to SmackDown because of the fact that they are such a big name that while the Bloodline is super big money, so is MCMG as well. And you can easily put the belts on them and not worry about losing viewership, or at least losing too much viewership that you would have lost with DIY. And then we were able to transition from MCMG to DIY because obviously they had a very deep history with Johnny Gargano and Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin and all that. And then you also had, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa being really good friends, though, as well. We were able to kind of call back to both of them turning heel with each other. I'm hoping that we do finally get these guys to turn on each other again so that we can get the big match between these guys just one more time. We're also finally seeing Pretty Deadly being shown off a lot more, which I'm super excited for because I think Pretty Deadly is an absolutely phenomenal team. We're seeing Los Garza as well. Los Garza is somebody that I also have so much faith in, man. When they came in 2021, 2022, Angel and Humberto were looking absolutely amazing. Humberto was even getting a push to be one of the singles champions, whether it be like a mid card. He was even, I think, get some world title pictures as well, man. He was just looking absolutely phenomenal. So I have a lot of faith in this guy. Maybe he does break away from Angel, though. I hope that doesn't happen. I want to see them continue to be together, so maybe they can get that eventual tag team championship. But if Humberto is going to be getting a singles push, then I'm also here for it as well, because I do like this guy a lot, and I want to see more luchadors getting pushes in WWE as well. But hey, the guys who need to get that dang belt back, though, the Street Profits, literally one of my favorite tag teams of all time. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. I still always call back to that Money in the Bank match against the Usos, one of my favorite matches of all dang time. It's just a beautifully, beautifully done match, and I think Street Profits versus DIY this coming Friday in Barcelona, which is absolutely crazy, by the way, is going to be just as good of a match, in my opinion. I'm so here for it. I really, really hope that Street Profits do win, but they probably won't, because Pretty Deadly and DIY obviously have a big storyline right now, and I think Pretty Deadly could be the one to dethrone DIY. And then maybe Street Profits do get the belts sometime again later on this year. I hope that they do, man, because they are a really phenomenal team. If you're not going to do anything with them, you need to turn Montez Ford solo. I literally had somebody, when I made a video about the tag team division on my TikTok, someone said, I ain't been watching since 2022, but you tell me that Montez Ford is not solo yet? Exactly. We're all saying that exact same thing. This guy needs to be solo because he's, well, I mean, not be solo, because, he ain't got tickets. He ain't got two of them, one for me, one for him. But, he's an absolute star nonetheless, like one Solo Sikoa and like Jey Uso as well. I think this guy has every single thing to be a world champion, to be a mid-card champion, wherever you want to put him at. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. He has every single thing that I think Jey Uso has, that LA Knight has, and he's just not been given the pushes that these guys have been given. So I really do hope that he gets the same push eventually someday, or at least this tag team gets the push that the Usos and the New Day got back then. Now, before we do go into that final topic, though, I do got to say that in the last episode, I talked about the AEW Revolution card, and I did forget Hangman Adam Page versus MJF, and also Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King. Mind you, I recorded the episode before the Brody King Kazuchika Okada match got announced, but I did not talk about MJF and Hangman Adam Page, mainly because I just forgot. I was reading the list, and I literally looked back at the list, and I just skipped over their names. I was like, wow, I could not believe that. But I did make a few videos on it, so if you do want to check those videos out, you definitely can. Basically, what I talked about, though, was that I think what's going to happen is that MJF and Hangman Adam Page are going to happen at it's going to happen at Revolution, which I did say, which was confirmed. And then I think Hangman Adam Page does get the win at Revolution. This takes him into trying to get back into that world title picture. And I think they're going to do it very Seth Rollins, CM Punk like, where MJF prevents Hangman Adam Page from getting into the world title picture. Or they could do it where Hangman Adam Page actually gets the world title. Maybe he's the guy that throws Jon Moxley instead of Christian, instead of Ricochet, instead of Cope, or maybe he gets it off of one of them, and then we get Hangman Adam Page versus MJF for the world title. I don't know if the feud necessarily needs it, but I would like to see one of these guys back in that world title picture. But honestly, if they're not back in the world title picture and their feud just ends with them having like 3 matches, I'm not mad at that either, to be honest. I would have loved to see one of them back in that world title picture, though, because I think these guys are 2 of the faces of the company. And it's been about 2-3 years for both of them, respectively, being in the world title picture. I think it's about dang time that we get them back there now and just, show that we're not throwing them to the side, that we still have so much faith in them, that they are our top guys. They are our John Cena, Randy Orton, our Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, that these are our top guys. But yeah, no, I didn't get to talk about that one in this episode. I think, does air after Revolution. So, I mean, you'll know by then who the heck won. As far as Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King, like I said, I'm recording this on a Saturday. I think Kazuchika Okada wins this. I think we're kind of just doing something with Kazuchika Okada for now until we get the big Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega unification match for the International and the Continental belts. Because I do think, like I said last episode, that Kenny Omega does beat Konosuke Takeshita. So yeah, I think we're just kind of holding off until then, and we're kind of giving some spotlight to the Hounds of Hell / House of Black. We did it with the whole Adam Cole thing. I think we're really just trying to find something for these guys to do right now, and a lot of it is really just probably the waiting game, kind of like getting all this current stuff settled, and then we're going to start throwing these guys in some big matches. I think if we don't unify the belts, I can see that Brody King or Buddy Matthews become the International and Continental champions. Heck, I would even like to see both of you guys become both respective champions, and then maybe Julia Hart gets like the TBS belt at the AEW World Championship, and the Hounds of Hell just have all the dang gold. I would love to see that as well. So yeah, those are my predictions as far as those 2 matches. Now, before we do sign off, we got one more thing to talk about, and that's the return of Black Clover. Oh my gosh, man, I'm super excited for it. I know last episode I said I haven't been much in the anime as of recent, but Black Clover, one of my animes, bro. That thing is absolutely phenomenal. I love the heck out of that manga. I had to wait for so long to get Bleach come back. That's one of my favorite series as well. Finally got that dang thing back. I don't know when the heck Boruto gonna come back, and I can't keep reading this manga, man. This manga is trash, bro. Oh my god, man. They got Ida talking like a teen girl, bro, and I know she a teen girl, but they got to talk like an American teen girl, bro, and I already work with kids as is. I'm not trying to be at work hearing teen girls in the way they talking, and I got to go read a dang manga talking about some skibbity toilet and some dang girly pop and all that stuff, bro. Oh my god, it's the worst thing in the world, bro. I can't keep reading this manga. But Black Clover, that manga, I really love that out of the manga, and the anime is also really good as well. So I'm super excited that it is coming back. It's going to be the rest of the Spade Kingdom arc, plus like the big old war arc that happens. Asta going to the Land of Sun as well, meeting some folks who are pretty close with Yami. We're finally going to get to, anime fans will finally get the backstory on Yami as well. We get to see the big battle with Lucius Zogratis too. It's going to be just, oh man, absolutely phenomenal. This final arc has been cooking. It has been one of my favorite final arcs in anime. And I'm super excited that I've kind of been getting back into anime as well, because this whole arc is coming back. I've been getting back into stuff like, not just anime, but anime and manga. Getting into stuff like Wild Strawberry again, getting into Solo Leveling, getting back into Blue Lock as well, Classroom of the Elite. I can't wait for that to come back too. That series is phenomenal as well, man. But I don't know how the heck they're gonna animate that series, because they on year 2 of the light novel, man. Oh my goodness, dude. I don't know. They're on year 2, like volume something, like volume 10, 11, 12, and there's like 10 volumes for year 1, and they're not even fully finished with all that. So yeah, 86 I've been getting back into as well. Super excited to see if we do get more of that in the future. But Black Clover, man, I'm hyped for it, man. I think it's gonna finally put Black Clover back into where it belongs, respectively, which is that top 3. I think it's gonna be its ending is gonna be really good as well too. I'm hoping, at least. I'm hoping, but I think Tabata's been having time to work with this. I think we're finally gonna see that Black Clover was up there with Demon Slayer, man. It was Black Clover, it was Demon Slayer, and whoever else you really want to put into that top 3. You could say JJK, you could say Chainsaw Man, you could say My Hero Academia, you could say Boruto, you could say whoever you want, but Black Clover is gonna be stamped into that top 3 in my opinion, and I'm so happy for this, because it's such a great series, man. It really, really is. People that say like it's like a knockoff of another series, it copies tropes from other series, but that's literally just writing. You take tropes from other series and you incorporate them into your series and you give them a little bit of a twist. That's what writers do. That's what I do as a writer as well. It's just a thing. If you say it's copying, I think you're just probably not a writer and you're not credible to be talking on this whole conversation. So yeah. Calling it Disney Clover as well, man. Y'all gonna see right now. This last arc is anything but Disney. And we're finally gonna get to see Zet 10 as well. Oh my gosh, bro! I can't wait for the voice actor to kill that. I really, really hope bro does kill that, man. Because finally, Asta is getting a like a call out. Like Ichigo has Bankai, Naruto has Rasengan, Shadow Clone, Luffy has Gum Gum. You have Tanjiro with water breathing and sun breathing and all that. Asta's needed one, man. He's needed one for a long time now. I think you're really legendary. You really become a legendary anime character when you have just something significant about you. And I think having that call out really does help a lot of these guys out. Because if they didn't have that, probably wouldn't be as legendary as they are. So I'm super excited for Black Clover's return. Y'all go ahead and let me know down below, by the way, what's y'all favorite anime, man, if y'all do watch anime. And if you do want to hear me more, if you do want to hear me talk more anime, feel free to let me know as well. And I definitely can talk from time to time. Probably won't be like a regular thing, but like, an every so often thing. But yeah, no, that'll be it for now, though. I definitely hope y'all did enjoy today's episode of the My Side of Things podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you do like and subscribe for more. If you're listening to this on Spotify, definitely hit that follow button. Go ahead and give a rating, whatever kind of rating you want. The 5-star does help, but if you want to give a 4-star, you want to give a 3-star, whatever you want to, whatever you really want to give, I definitely appreciate it, man. But I'm gonna be out there for now, y'all. Y'all have a great one. Peace, everybody. Bye.